Part 3. Part 1 was just mocking everything up. Part 2, I actually got it started. So part 3, we're going to clean everything up and address all the loose ends. Got a new 3D printer, so I'm printing out a box for this right now as we speak. I got this new Walmart battery delivered for $70, no core either. I know, right? Delivered to my door. So we're gonna get a battery tie down, make this work. I cleaned up this fuse box and wrapped up some of these wires as neatly as I could, and I soldered a lug on here for all the power. We're gonna go through all the electric fan stuff. We're gonna put proper connectors instead of these bullet connectors. And then yeah, we still gotta clean up this wiring mess inside. Also gotta figure out a catch can that I'm gonna try to mount here up in the corner. And then maybe we could actually drive it. Okay, so last time I just rattle canned the engine bay, and you know, it's looking pretty decent. It's had a couple days to cure. Also covered up all the holes with aluminum tape. It's looking pretty decent. Little bit of overspray on there, but whatever. So that's why I got the microfiber, trying not to scratch the spray paint. So just to start the car, I just had this zip tied and I had the fuse box clipped in just so it didn't wobble around. So for this battery tie down, the J-bolt is too short. Can you believe I was actually gonna make something? $3. Okay, there's the bolt right there. Maybe I could integrate it into here. Okay. How do I make a hole there? Don't have a 90-degree drill. Try drilling it with this. This will give us a good pilot hole. Okay, so we punch through, but still need to make it bigger. This is what I came up with. We have a 1/4-inch step drill on a quarter-inch socket on a 1/4-inch wobble extension on a 3/8 to 1/4-inch adapter. Don't want to scratch my spray paint. $3 mount. Pretty solid. Even got these fuzzy things. God. We got this ground wire going to the frame rail. That's cleaned it up a bunch around here. Okay, so my temp to kick on is actually 194. So that's why I didn't kick on last night. So we can test the settings here. Kick it on. Kick it off. Here's the harness I made. Alright, so this is signal from the ECU. This is power and ignition on. Battery power and ignition on. And this is power to the fans with a ground. And I have this relay which has fuses up here at the top. So no need to splice in an inline fuse. It's all in one tidy package. 30 amp fuses, which is exposed to the elements here. Okay, got everything zip tied into place. Just run it up here through the headlight and just all kind of chilling in there. My plan is to make a panel to at least cover this. Okay, 165. We're just waiting for this sucker to turn on at 180. There it is. If you look, it is 181. These things don't happen overnight. Or actually, they do. What do we have here? A plenum with velocity stacks, or just an airbox, so just like that. I don't want to glue them in yet, but or a filter, unifilter, universal green. Cut it to size, and I'm printing out the inside and outside pieces that sandwich it, and that should just be a good tight clearance there. This also hides the fuel line and Eki sump a little. Yeah, look at that. We're gonna be breathing clean air face up. There's a lot of cutting and pasting in this project. Arts and crafts. Moment of truth. Connect them, put some pressure. Okay. Supposed to sandwich it. So we got to cut this to size. I don't know, Celsius. So melting point of this is about, I don't know, 250 to 280 for the tip. So if I set this to 300, I should have no problem. Threaded inserts in a 3D print. Wow. And now we're going to cut this filter. Obviously, there's a little bulge here because I melted plastic out of the way. So I'm just going to take the file and just go over it. This should hold it all together. Just like one big happy family. So, clean rinse filter. Once filter is dry, spray cane and oil along the crown of each filter pleat. Okay, look at that. Okay. Okay, nice. Very cool. Check that out. It's a box. Oily airbox on there. This is where the OCD kicks in. Making sure all your hose clamps are clocked at the same degree. I just need some cool looking headers. We sorted out the airbox yesterday and I designed this bracket. Anyways, I got a rib nut here already and that should go right in. Okay, here we have the final product. I gotta rotate this. That should work. I should just clock it into place and then tighten it once I get the hoses on. Amazon vinyl hose. This reminds me of Home Depot catch can days. This stuff is cheap and it's flexible, and yeah, all it is a vent. And lots of arts and crafts. This I printed, and this is gonna slap in here. And what I'm excited to show you too is all of these little indicators. That one's a parking for my parking brake. High beam. Okay, roughly it should look like this. Check engine, charge light, left turn, high beam, right turn, oil pressure, and parking. Should look like that to go into here. Okay, look at this crazy ass wiring. Got my oil pressure, high beam, left, right, high beam. So here's the back. You can see how I designed that. There's a lot of wires I got to clean up here. I got to get the right oil pressure switch, and I got to figure out, I thought for sure the alternator was giving a ground signal to know if it was charging, but maybe I have that wrong. Quick update on this. Yeah, it's mounted in there just with this base. And I actually found a 90-degree PCV I had laying around. It was brand new. So that's essentially how I routed it. Finalized it with this filter. If you know, you know. Cleaned up the map and it actually drives now. I'm just making sure none of this is melted on me. So far so good. Cleaned up the map and actually drove it, and man, no brake booster. Gotta get used to that. And we're just making sure nothing has melted in here. So far so good. Okay, little change of plans. I've decided instead of me blowing this thing up, trying to tune it, chasing it, I'm actually gonna get it dynoed. Okay, so before we get it dynoed, we just need to take care of a couple things. First things first, we're going to flow test our injectors, make sure they're all equal and clean with a good spray pattern. And then when we have those off, we're going to change our coil packs to make sure they're nice and fresh. And while we have that off, we'll do a compression test. And I got new plugs that I won't put in until we actually dyno it. And on top of that, we're going to make sure our compression's so good, so we'll do a compression test. All right, so sometimes you have to fix the tools, and then once you fix the tools, you can fix your car. Okay, so we're gonna let all the fluid drain. Once it drains, we will lock it in place and hit play. This is idling speed. Okay, while that's idling, I stole the injectors out of this engine because I was also curious to see if they're so good. And we got 1 and 2 beams right there. And then I'll put the injectors onto this motor. And yeah, wouldn't be a bad idea just to carry spare injectors with me either. I had to start that over because this thing tried to kill me. I had it sitting on these bushings and it punched through. But the injectors are actually lower now and we can see the actual spray pattern. This is why you should flow test. This one is a lot more. Cleaning injectors in the background while I do a compression test. I didn't hit record, but number 1 is only 110. I don't know about this gauge, it doesn't even bleed off the compression. About 115. 115. Yeah, 115. Hey, right off the bat, this one seems a little more consistent. I'm getting 115, 115, less than 120, more than 120. So let's say 121, 115, 115, and 119. 115, 115, 130, 120. Okay, so I put the 4 that I thought matched the most. I got 115, and retesting, they're all right under 120. That's pretty spot on. All right, well, there's a reason I bought this tool. This is cylinder 1 and cylinder 4. My motor may be blown, but have you seen this? This is just a prototype. It's really shitty. That's why I have this. Alright, so right now there's a lot of questions I'm asking myself. Will I make it to the panic event? Is my motor blown? Will I make it to the dyno? Who knows? Anyways, I don't have much time off from now to then, so we'll see if we get it done. Thanks for watching.